and I'm a freshman here at LMU, and my parents started De Colores 25 years ago when they were actually both students at LMU. They actually started at an orphanage, and then since then it's kind of evolved into an organization called Build a Miracle, where they build homes for people in Tijuana, Mexico, and they started with a plan to build just one home a year, and now I think they're on home 187 or something, and LMU has stayed involved with it like over the past 25 years.
So in the past 25 years, De Colores has changed a lot, and this past year we've really honed in on the three components that we want to stick with, which is spirituality, community, and immigration. And what we do is serve. So we don't go in wanting to help, because if we think that we're helping, then we see the community as weak. And if we go in wanting to fix something, then we see the community as broken. But when we go in to serve, we see them as human beings.
One of the things we do on De Colores is we try and find a way to essentially make it so that there's three components. When we're on a De Colores trip, the main thing we want students to take away in that brief weekend is an opportunity to greater explore their faith, an opportunity to really enter a community, both in terms of the students that are on that trip and finding a community there, but also the community we work with in a little area called El Florido, and then finally exploring immigration and exploring what immigration reform might look like. You know, we always say time and again, one of the biggest advantages we have at LMU is that that border is 142 miles away. And so that's a really unique opportunity for students to journey 142 miles and cross a line and just see the way that things change when you cross over this line.
When you go down there, you're given the opportunity to make connections with people that you wouldn't have otherwise if you just have gone one trip or maybe even two. I've gone on so many that I've been able to make a connection with all of the people in the community, and that's really special, and I think it kind of puts a face to a lot of the hard work that you're doing as well. Even though my Spanish skills aren't that great, I can still make that connection with not just the children but the adults as well, and like hear a little bit about their story. So this year, LMU students actually raised about $10,000 to sponsor a home, and it started in September, I think, on the first trip, and I heard this guy named Mark. I heard him telling some girls like, hey, we should raise money for Build a Miracle, we should, you know, this would be really cool, LMU students should raise money. So then after the trip, I contacted him and I was like, hey Mark, let's do this, like let's try to raise $10,000 for our house. So right after we decided to raise money, we got assigned a family, and so then as we would go on the trips throughout the year, we would get to know the family, and LMU students really has formed this awesome relationship with this family. And then finally on the last 3 trips of the year, we built their house and presented it to the family. And then when the family went to lunch, we brought furniture over and we put it all and we set it all up in the house. And then when they came back, we presented them the house and surprised them. They didn't know that they were getting the furniture. So it was just great. This was like a really special family to me, just because I've really got to know them before they got their home. And I really saw the parents were much more quiet and reserved. Now every time I see them, we just run up and give each other a hug. Just seeing them kind of more like stepping up and being confident and talking to us, it's been really incredible to watch.
So we often find that students can say, you know, maybe they're struggling with their faith, maybe something else is going on, but they look at it and they say, I can see God in other people. I may be struggling to find God inside a church somewhere else, but that first step is realizing that God exists in the person that they've been shoveling cement with. And then when we go into immigration, you have a chance to sit down with these men, and you have a chance to go to this place, Casa del Migrante, and really kind of see a human face for it and deconstruct the notions of everything you've heard about immigration in the newspaper, and just see that there's human beings and that oftentimes they've got families, and that that's what they most want to talk about is the children that they've had to leave behind in the country that they feel is home. And so later when we reflect and we're at this place called Friendship Park, one of the things we like to remind people of is this is all connected. It may not feel connected when we're talking about these 3 points, but it really is. Your faith and that ability to find God in the poor is so important. But more than that, with that work we're doing at Build a Miracle, with that time spent in the community, side by side, mixing cement to build a house, it's building a community. And when you're building a community, it's giving people a reason to stay in their country. We think that immigration reform is very important. But we think more than that, you have to go to the root of the issue, and you have to realize that no one wants to leave their home. No one wants to willingly leave behind their families, their culture, their language, everything they've known. They do it because they have to do it. And so with communities and organizations like Build a Miracle, what you have is neighborhoods coming about, and neighborhoods that have a sense of community. They have homes that are safe and secure. They have a community center where children can gather, where parents can gather. And you kind of find that Build a Miracle is one of the best things for immigration reform, because it gives people an opportunity to stay at home and to stay in the communities that they love and make something of it. And we think that's absolutely crucial and a great way to kind of connect those two areas.